Ooh. So we are live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we are, but I've got two different cameras. So if you're on Instagram, you are here. And if you are on YouTube, I've got your camera here. So hopefully it doesn't lose you guys. But yeah, let's go. We are freaking live. Hopefully my mic is okay here. Let me see. Yes, we got it good. We got it going on. All right. So yeah, awesome week this week. It's really freaking great. Um, wow. I don't know how many of you guys have actually launched and scaled a business, but it's not an easy thing to do. For those of you that don't know, I am a 16-year entrepreneur, and I am over this last year here, we have been launching an exit advising firm and basically a business brokering as well with Mirtha and Mirtha, mergers and acquisitions here local in Tampa, Florida. Well, Wesley Chapel to be exact, right outside of Tampa. And any kind of deal that we broker, it's like I said with Mirtha and Mirtha, and then I basically started exit advising services with our value clarity report, which I can't put a banner here on Instagram, but I could put a banner here on here. So if you are interested in knowing what your biz is worth, you could DM or comment clarity if you'd like. Also, I've got a giveaway. Whoever is the most engaged in our live will get that book, which you can't see on Instagram, but you can see here. Is this one. It's really who created the certified exit planning advisor. It's really how you could ultimately scale through value. It's what I actually advise and teach when you are trying to increase the valuation of your company. We've got some pretty cool giveaways. So we'll put it in the description eventually. But yeah, no, it's in all the YouTube videos. But we've got an exit readiness score, and we've got a VCR roadmap, which basically tells you exactly how to increase the value of your company pretty quickly. And yeah, so it's just been a pretty great week, because when you are scaling a company, there's just a lot of things that are involved and a lot of things that you have to focus on. With that said, I will say that the most important thing when you are scaling a company that you should be focusing on, the most important thing that you need to be doing when you have a business and you are scaling a business is generating leads. Because it's the leads that generate the revenue. It's the revenue that allows you to keep growing and hire more people to replace doing the things that you may or may not want to be doing or should be focusing on. Leads, 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 leads. That's what it is all about. Now, how do you get leads? There are several ways. And by the way, we did a poll the other day. This came out like unanimous as the most important thing that needs to be done. In your it is the most important pain. It's the biggest pain point that business owners have, is generating leads. Hey, your content's solid. I can upgrade your editing to boost views and growth. Of course you can, but that's great. I'm a lead to Mr. Patel here, who just commented. Technically, right? A very cold lead, because I don't know who he is or where he's from, but I'm technically a lead, and he just did a cold outreach to me in order to hopefully gain my business, maybe start a conversation. So kudos to you, Patel, for going ahead and doing that. So the first way you get leads is literally by going through your phone. Going through your phone. Basically, I can come up with a framework right now is you start with the people that you already know. Start with the people you already know. And even if you've been doing whatever you've been doing for a long time, if you are struggling to get leads, you could still go back and reach out to people who already know you and even know what you're doing, and just remind them like, hey, by the way, this is what I do and this is how I can help. Do you need my help, or do you know anybody that might need my help? Start with the contacts on your phone. It could take you a whole year to go through all your contacts. I will tell you, it's taken me a long time just to find, because while you're scaling the business and I'm doing sales as well, sometimes I lose time for actual sales. So, I'm only at F right now on my phone, and I've been reaching out to people by text and by phone for quite some time, but the conversations end up going a lot longer than sometimes you'd want. The next thing is your social media following, which is just start reaching out to all of your friends on Facebook, all of your followers on Instagram, of the people that you know, of the people that follow you and are friends of yours on Facebook, because that's who you know. What we have been noticing for us, okay, in the business advising and business brokering side, is by far LinkedIn is our target. I'm having great conversations with people on LinkedIn, hopefully to close a couple of these value clarity reports. I mean, they're so good. These value clarity reports are just like the best valuation that you're ever going to get on your business. I'm spending the money to get the valuation as well, so that you can get all of the details that you possibly can. So LinkedIn's been working. That's just why we're going live on Instagram today, because it's just the way to go. So LinkedIn's been working great for us. There's always people reaching out to me on LinkedIn. I didn't even know, like, connections and stuff, and now I'm just pretty much bringing everybody in to connect. And again, I'm just having great conversations. So once you get through all of your contacts, once you get through all of your social media, now you can just start gathering emails, and you could just start sending emails as well. So everybody send them an email. Okay. Get some kind of email nurture that you could now, you've already called everybody, you've already reached out. Okay. While you're doing all that, try to collect as many emails as you can, build a list, and now just put them into some kind of nurture. Even if it's you sending the email yourself, you just send one every single day. The other thing is, if you have a specific target, if it's a specific niche, if it's a specific market, for example, you're going to start seeing ads from us. And I'm going to get into ads later. You're going to start seeing ads for specific niches. For example, pest control, landscaping, and HVAC. Okay. I am going to call out these particular industries to see if they're interested in our report or in actually selling their business. Well, the same thing you can do is you could buy an email list, or you could buy phone numbers for every restaurant in Tampa Bay if you're selling something to restaurants, or you could buy another list of every business owner, whatever it is. So you could also do that. Once you get past all the people, you could go to a specific niche and you start calling and you start sending emails and so on and so forth. The next part that we were focusing on this week is our actual ad campaign. Now, I needed to get an understanding of exactly how to measure the results of our ads and whether or not only are they working, but the direction that we should go in. So here's what I learned. The more money you spend, the more leads you get. Plain and simple. The more money you spend, the more leads you get. My question is, why, as business owners, are we so hesitant, at least the stupid ones, and I'm putting myself in that group, why are we so hesitant to put more money into leads? We'll put money into a CRM and a software, and we'll put money into all this equipment and all of these things, but we won't put money into leads. We're like concerned. I feel like there's still like some underground concern that we're just throwing money to, say, a Facebook or Google, and it's not really going anywhere. But no, that's not true. Like, you get the results, you see it. And what you find out is we ran several ads. You've probably seen them. And we spent, a certain amount of money on one, a certain amount of money on the other. Anyway, the ad that we spent the most money on gave us the best results. It gave us the most results and leads, gave us the most impressions, gave us the most reach. And then it also gave us a cost per lead. So boom, aha moment, right? Things I should have known for a very long time. So excuse me, it's obvious though. So now we know. Okay, so we're pushing that. We're spending much more money. Now, the more money you spend on leads or on ads, the more leads that you get. Now, the big difference maker though is going to be your cost per lead. That's where the marketing angle comes in of your video, the description, the call out, the lead magnet, the first 5-second hook. That's when you start to realize the difference. You can do a bunch of A/B testing and a bunch of stuff. So what we did, okay, giving you all the secrets. I don't care how many people are watching. I'm giving you all the secrets. The key is what I learned from Alex Hormozi, and it's in his book, $100 Million Leads, is you separate the hook, which is your first 5 seconds, or the call out, from the rest of the ad. Okay? And we shot, so get ready. I shot 30 hooks, 30, talking about the pain, pulling them away from pain, talking about whatever problem that they're having, talking about the dream outcome that they want. Just real quick, in 5 seconds, I'm calling out specific industries, specific markets. And then I recorded almost 20 ads. I did about 7 and 8. So I did about 15 ads. So what we're going to do is take the 30 hooks and the 15 ads, and we're going to put those hooks, like one hook to almost all 15, another hook to almost all 15, another hook to almost all 15. You take 15 and you multiply it by 30, and you've got yourself a lot of ads. I'm going to do the math. It's about 400 or so. If you take 15, because I did 15 and I did 30 hooks, you're looking at about 450 different variations of ads. Now is when you test. Now is when you test. So now we can do all of the A/B testing, where we could put the same amount of money for each of these, and we could see which one gets the most traction and has the most conversion and ultimately cost us the least per lead. Do that for about a week or so. And then as soon as we've got that answer, we cut out all the other ones and we go all in on that one. So I'll let you know how that goes. I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to work. I know it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then we'll learn from it and we move on to something else. Which brings me to my next point, and what we discussed this week is failure. That's right. Failure. All right. Winners lose more than losers lose, in case you didn't know that. And the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. The point is, and the point that I made to my team this week, is I want them to know that we have a culture of, quite frankly, it being okay to fail. What do I mean by that? I want them to do everything perfect, and I want them to do everything right, but I don't want them to be afraid of failing. Not in the business and not in their lives either. I want them to make sure that they could work freely, with confidence, with speed, with autonomy to get things done. And if they make a mistake, it's okay. It doesn't matter if they make a mistake. It's okay to fail. As a matter of fact, you have to fail. You have to learn to fail fast, and you have to learn faster. That's ultimately the mindset. Because we have to assume here, because we're launching our company this year, that we're wrong about most things, the business model, the pricing, all of it. But we have to implement all of these things immediately and find out if they work and if they don't work. And if they don't work, then we could just learn from that, and it'll be all good. So, I can't tell you how important it is to fail. So ultimately, the more you try and the more new things you try, the more things you're going to fail at. But ultimately, the more you learn, and the more you learn, the more you earn. So think bigger, right? I just want to make sure that we're constantly just thinking bigger. And there's 3 little mindsets that I talked about. 3 things that you should do. Number 1 is you should study the successful people. You will see that the most successful people have actually failed the most, right? Like I said, champion athletes, they have failed more than anyone else has ultimately failed to get to the place that they're at today. And, people who don't try anything don't fail at all. But those are losers, ultimately. So study the most successful people. You can look at Steve Jobs. Guy got fired from Apple, launched another company, then got rehired by Apple. That must have been rough. And Thomas Edison, I think 10,000 times or something like that? 1,000 times he tried to invent the light bulb and he failed at it. But every single time he just learned something new, which is what's the most important part about failure. The next thing that you have to do is you have to reframe your mindset. Reframe your mindset completely around failure. If you look at failure as actually a good thing and a necessary thing to grow as a person and to take your life and your business to the next level, then it's okay to fail. Now you're playing offense as opposed to playing defense. Let's go. if you could even change the mindset where you are almost doing everything you can to fail so that you can learn more, especially when you're trying something new, that's the way you want to ultimately go. So change the mindset, completely reframe your mindset to accept failure for what it is, because it is okay to fail. And then the last thing was to shorten your time frame. Shorten your time frame of failure, because a lot of times people think that they're failing at something only because they didn't actually get it done in the time frame that they wanted to get it done. So, I gave myself 6 months to do this and I didn't do it, I failed. No, you did not. If you could change your actual time frame, and if you have big goals and you've already visualized what your life is going to look like in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, then every single day that you're trying new things and failing at little things is just other stepping stones and learning experience to get you to where you want to get to. So it's okay. You need to reframe your mindset around failure, but you also need to ultimately your time limit. You need to reframe your time limit as to when you're going to actually accomplish any of these things, and reset your. You have to have a long-term mindset. Ultimately, is what it's all about. Give yourself a longer time frame. Look in decades. Look in decades, not days. Ultimately, is what you want. What you want to do. So, yeah, that's my message to you guys today. Is, for some reason, I did a coaching call and it was about failure. And then I did another coaching call and it was about fear. And then I did another coaching call and it was about failure. And then I was like, well, this is just coming to me way too much. It's time for me to absorb this and try to share it with everyone else. So I'm sharing it with you now. And I also want to share it. And I also shared it with my team as well. Along with failure is you have your 3 most common kinds of fears. And the 3 most common kinds of fears that we have is, where's it coming up? You have the fear of judgment. Okay. You have the fear of failure and fear of pain. All right. And then you also have the fear of identity. Fear of judgment, fear of pain, fear of identity. Fear of judgment of what other people are going to think of you. Fear of pain and of failure and of suffering. And then you have the fear of identity. Those are 3 most common fears that people have. And it's just common. We go through it all the time. So I just want to share that with you. Understand that if you don't fail, that means you're not trying. If you don't fail, that means you're not stepping outside of your comfort zone. And if you're not failing, then how in the hell are you learning? So study the successful people. Learn how to reframe the concept around failure. Just normalize the idea that you will fail and have a longer term mindset. I was talking to somebody the other day that told me they had a 50-year goal. They're in their 40s. I'm like, so you have a goal that's for when you're 90? And he's like, yeah, he says, I know exactly what I want my life to look like when I'm 90. And I will tell you, I do have a goal that I would like to run a marathon when I'm 80. So I feel like that goal sort of determines my state of health, my state of energy, my state of success. If I'm able to run a freaking marathon when I'm 80 years old, I feel like I'm in good shape if that's the case. So remember this, the master has failed more times than the beginner has ever tried. And the other good one is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. Remember that. All right, we'll log off with that. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll throw some shorts on there so that you can see some of the recap of the live. And that's all we got. I'm going to log off here on Instagram and then also log off on everything else at the same time. Let's go. Guys, as I always like to close out, have an amazing weekend. Take a break, chill out, love and enjoy your family as much as you can this weekend. Relax. Don't overexert yourself so you could come ready and driven to destroy the week ahead. All right, guys. See you later. And now, end stream.